What's the crack? A lot of you lads seem to really like the video I did about my Leaving Cert results, and in that video I did say I would do 3 follow-up videos on the subjects I scored a H1 in, which were business, accounting, Spanish. What this video is the first video in that installment of 3, and today I'm going to be talking about how I got a H1 in Leaving Cert Business. If you don't know me, my name's Gavin. I'm studying sustainability in UCD this year, and I got 95% in my Leaving Cert Business exam, and I will be sharing with you a few tips and tricks I learned along the way throughout 5th and 6th year to score a H1. I'd like to say as well, I had an absolutely fantastic teacher for Leaving Cert Business who really drilled into us exactly what we needed to know. Now, the first most important thing you're going to want to do if you want to score a H1 in Leaving Cert Business is understand that each question is worded in a very specific way, and it's up to you to decipher how you're going to lay out your answer depending on the words used in the question. Some examples of words they'll use are explain, discuss, outline, and these words all correspond to a certain layout you want to use.
Just interjecting here very quickly. Right now I'm going to put on the screen what layout you need to use for each question style. Thank you.
Secondly, you want to pay attention to how many marks each question is, in long questions especially. Now, what I mean by this is obviously if there's more marks going for a question, you're going to write more, but Leaving Cert Business is quite straightforward in the sense that if a question is 20 marks, it's going to be looking for 4 points, each worth 5 marks. So if your question is worth 15 marks, chances are they're looking for 3 points. If your question is worth 20 marks, it's no harm in putting down 4 points. Now, it's not necessarily 2 marks for the heading, 2 marks for your first point, a mark for your second point. It could be a bit skewed, but I would include 4 if your question is worth 20 marks and 3 if yours is 15, etc. Except in the ABQ, if your question is worth 30 marks, chances are you only need to put down 4. Speaking of ABQ, a side point is you want to make sure you're referring to the company or business in your answer in the ABQ. Also, according to our teacher, a lot of students go wrong in the sense that they think the ABQ is just a big story and a one big paragraph. No, you need to lay it out just like you lay out any long question. The fundamental thing I think I did that scored me the H1 was just grind out exam question after exam question. I know every single teacher is telling you to do this, just exam questions or your mates', but really it is the one true method to success. Leaving Cert Business is one of the most linear subjects going. By that I mean you can literally just go on and learn off the marking scheme. That's it. You do not need to be remotely interested in what's happening. You just need to learn off the phrases, the words, the buzzwords. And questions always rhyme. There might be slightly different wording in your Leaving Cert exam, but they're essentially asking for the same things, the same buzzwords that come up in the marking scheme year after year. What I did personally was I went on to exam revision and I would print off every question from every topic individually. So for example, I do people in business as the first one and I'd bash that out in 2 days, and then the next day I'd go on to contract law, whatever, and I'd do every single question of that. And after you do them over and over again, you see the ones that are repeating more and more often. I didn't even write them out fully, my answers. I wrote down my key points that I was going to include in my answer. And if you're wondering what your answer should include, it should be your heading, which is very key. You want to have 1 or 2 buzzwords in your first point, and then 1 or 2 buzzwords in your second point, which is elaborating on your first point. And when you're going through these, it's very important to learn off the words that they're looking for. Otherwise, if you're learning the meaning but not exactly what it's telling, you might be giving yourself a bit of false security. Whereas you're going into the exam and you know exactly what's going on, you put it down in your own words when it's just not exactly what the examiner is looking for. It's a sad reality of the Leaving Cert. I don't know why it's like that. I wish it wasn't, but that's the truth. Now, I did mention exam revision there, and I'd like to say this video was kindly sponsored by exam revision. So if you wouldn't mind, I'd like to tell you a bit about exam revision, what they do, and then I will come back. Personally, I found exam revision so easy because they have so many different ways of studying. For example, you can have mind maps, you can do exam questions just like you can on study clicks. They have H1 notes videos, everything. The whole lot. Whatever type of learner you are, they accommodate for it, which is handy because I was a bit of a strange learner. I was never good at school, so it was handy to jump in and out of different methods. What you can do is you can look at the H1 notes videos and then do questions on it straight after. There's PowerPoints, it's everything, and it's all quite bite-sized too. Also, all your progress is tracked, which is quite handy for motivation. It was for me anyway, and the teachers who are giving these H1 notes and making these PowerPoints are all state examiners, so they know what they're talking about. Me and my friends also found it just a much more fun and enjoyable way to study than just doing boring stuff. What's also handy is it's all at your own pace. I was always getting distracted in school, really just going on my phone if I could, or just zoning out completely and thinking about something, and then the next thing you know, you've missed the whole topic. But if that's the case for you and you find it hard to concentrate, exam revision is great because you can stop and pause it and you can learn at your own pace 24/7. You know, if you work better at night, I know I had a buddy who would study until 3 in the morning, but he would do nothing during the day. He'd do his activities whenever. While that didn't suit me, that suited him. same. It really does cater to everyone in that way too. Like I said earlier as well, the exam papers are broken up into different topics, so you can be doing the one topic at a time, and then you're repeating these questions over and over again, and they just stick in your brain. What's great as well is Exam Revision do a Saturday session for free, streamed live on their YouTube. For junior cert students, it's between 11 and 2, and for leaving cert students, it's between 12 and 1. This is a great way to meet the teachers and see if Exam Revision is for you before you sign up. I'd highly recommend anyone to check that out. That's on their YouTube, or you can go to their website, www.examrevision.ie. They've got the whole lot on there for leaving certs, and a good bit for junior certs too. There's a cheeky discount code if you want to sign up. If you use the code GAVIN20, you'll get 20% off. So genuinely, if any of that sounded interesting to you at all, I'd highly recommend you to check out their website, because they really helped me studying the leaving cert, and now I'm doing a course I love in UCD, and I just couldn't be happier. Your leaving cert is something that should be taken very, very important. Shelling out a couple extra quid a month is just going to be so worth it for you in the long run. It's a no-brainer, especially considering I got Spanish grinds in 6th year for a bit. I didn't feel like they helped at all, and your one was charging 50 quid. Now this is a fraction of that, and you're getting every single subject. You're getting H1 notes, you're getting exam questions, you're getting absolutely everything. So yeah, I'd highly recommend you to check it out. The last thing I'm going to touch on in this video is for taking notes. Now this personally worked for me, might not work for you, but I'm going to share it anyway. What I would do is I would pick a question or a topic. So let's say, for example, the roles and responsibility of a human resource manager. So I'd pick that question when I'm writing my notes. I'd want 4 reasons. I'd get my first reason, or role in this case, which would be, I can't even remember to be honest, manpower planning. And then I'd get 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 just so you're set for any question I can throw your way. And now just beside that, I would write a couple of keywords that I would use in my points. You don't need to memorize a whole sentence, just the keywords, and then when you're in the exam, you can just base that around it. I hope this video is beneficial to some of you. If it was, make sure to leave a like on the video, and feel free to subscribe to my channel as well, because I'm going to have a few more leaving cert related videos coming out. I also kind of want to do a little general tips for 5th years, tips for 4th years video going into leaving cert. Stuff I would have done differently, because believe it or not, there's actually a good bit of stuff I would have done differently looking back. Anyway, that'll be it for today. Hope you enjoyed. Have a lovely rest of your day, and best of luck in your exams.